Some of the coldest air of the fall and winter season is upon us just in time for Thanksgiving and Black Friday this coming weekend as temperatures plummet into the single digits. Not only that, a big powerful winter storm is arriving in time for Thanksgiving and Black Friday and could bring quite a bit of snowfall and lake effect snow across the upper Midwest and the Northeast. Welcome back, everybody. It's David Schlotthauer here with another weather forecast. As you all know, the weather pattern is going to be quickly changing in the next couple of days in time for your Thanksgiving travel and Thanksgiving festivities as a big polar vortex comes out of Canada with a lot of ridging across the west. So as you can see here on our current satellite imagery here provided by the College of Dew page, a good, awesome website I would highly recommend checking out after this video. Link in the description below this video. And as we can see here, we do have a big cold Arctic air mass residing up there in Canada. You could already start seeing it here with the cooler temperatures. But the whole idea here is we got this zonal flow, this westerly flow cutting across much of the U.S. And this is keeping the colder air well to the north. But eventually, this jet stream is going to do some crazy, wacky stuff, and it's going to bring in a lot of this colder air very far south. In fact, in portions of Florida, we could have some very cold record low temperatures for the month of November, believe it or not. So with that being said, let's get into the forecast and look at our European model. This is the ECMWF, or known as the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting. Why not, right? It's an acronym. And so as we look at the forecast here, what you're looking at here is different precipitation types. Blues indicating snow, green, rainfall, and of course, when anything in between the pink colors, you don't see it very often here on the map, but it indicates some freezing rain or sleet. So putting this into motion, and you can see where our systems are. We just got done having one in the upper Midwest, like Indiana, got some snow there, as well as the Northeast and the Great Lakes. That's moving out, followed by another system over here across the Rockies. And it's this system right here that we're watching for significant winter storm development, especially across the Midwest and towards the Northeast in time for Thanksgiving and also for Black Friday. I know a lot of people are going to do a lot of Black Friday shopping. I'm doing Cyber Monday shopping here on the YouTube channel, believe it or not, or on Amazon, I should say. And yes, I'll be home when I do shopping, so I'm not going to have to worry about going out there to Best Buy or to Target, wherever you guys are planning to go to do Black Friday shopping, because I know it's going to be busy out there getting those hot deals, right? So going forward, now for the day before Thanksgiving, this is Wednesday afternoon, you can see some showers here. So if you're traveling, a lot of people are going to be traveling here on Wednesday, going from east to west, or from east to west, or from west to east, or east to west, vice versa, via flying or driving, however you want to put it. There's going to be some impacts on the roadways, maybe some flight delays as well. No flight cancellations at the moment here because the weather doesn't look to be all that bad. However, on Thursday, could be a little bit of a different story, especially Thursday morning. For the Northeast, we're talking about some heavy rainfall, strong winds, and yes, some heavy snowfall for the higher elevations, some of the mountain peaks where we get some cooler air there aloft. That's where you're going to see some of the heavier snowfall, especially when we get some of the cooler air wrapping in on the backside of that deepening surface flow over the Northeast. So yes, traveling, maybe some flight cancellations or flight delays will likely be needed over the Northeast on Thursday. So yeah, Thanksgiving travel, especially say east of Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, not going to be very fun at all. We're going to be looking at a lot of problems, I guarantee, with that winter storm. And then look what happens. This system really gets deep. By Friday, in fact, if we actually zoom in on the Northeast, you'll see with what we're talking about here. We're talking about this powerful winter storm. Let's go back right here. Yes, 987 millibar system. Heavy snowfall along the I-30 or whatever. I'm not going to mention highways and get it wrong, but you get the story. If you're in Maine, if you're in New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, lots of heavy snowfall for Thursday. Not going to be a good day to do any Thanksgiving shopping. Do it tomorrow, or actually, yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. Yes, so do it tomorrow before Thanksgiving Day because it's going to be a rough go for you all there. And then by the time that moves off, lake effect snow could also be the other enemy that we're going to have to contend with too because of that cooler air moving on in. And that's for your Thursday night into Friday. And then for your Black Friday shopping, it's going to still be the same. Lake effect snow across the Great Lakes, much drier and quieter weather, although much colder temperatures are anticipated. In fact, when we do take a look at those temperatures for your Thanksgiving Day and Black Friday, including for the weekend, you can see, yes, for your morning lows, it's going to be mild for some, but really cold for others, especially if you are, say, north of Georgia. I mean, Indiana, you've been in the 40s and 50s overnight recently before the big changes come in here. And you can see temperatures in Indiana and Ohio probably going to be in the mid 30s overnight. Temperatures up here in the upper Midwest, you're going to see overnight lows in the low 20s. Going to be cold out there. And then if you're in Montana and some of the higher elevations here of the Rockies and also for North Dakota, single digit overnight lows combined with some gusty winds, wind chill values, not going to feel all that good at all. Wind chill values probably in the negative 15 to negative 20 range. So yes, very, very cold. Might have to introduce wind chill advisories. Doesn't surprise me if that gets issued. And then during the day, Thanksgiving, not going to warm up hardly at all. Might even cool down during the day for Thanksgiving in portions of the Great Lakes and the Northeast in the wake of that cooler air mass or that cold front that rolls through. I should say freezing front because it's going to really feel like freezing out there. And then Black Friday shopper morning, a lot of people are going to create lines, camp out of Best Buy. We've seen this before. It's going to be cold. If you can brave the chill, you're good to go. Just make sure you wear a lot of layers because it's going to be very cold, especially up here in North Dakota. Temperatures as cold as negative 10 degrees. Wind chill values probably going to make it feel like negative 20 to negative 30 degrees. It's going to be miserable out there. It's just not going to be a day or a morning you would want to camp outside of a big retail store and wait to get in those doors as they open, right? And then, yeah, throughout Black Friday, it's just going to be cold. It's not really going to warm up at all. And it really, Saturday morning, going to be the coldest. Indiana could see temperatures in the teens, while the West is also going to see their fair share of cooler air as well. Part of this Arctic air mass that's going to impact pretty much everyone. More so east of the Rockies, though. And then by the first day of December, by the weekend or Sunday, it is still going to be cold. It's going to feel like winter eventually, or finally, I should say. And then, of course, northern Florida could have overnight lows perhaps into the mid to upper 30s. Now, what about those temperature anomalies? Everyone wants to know, is it going to be colder than average or is it going to be warmer than average? Well, here's a look at that ensemble forecast, which, by the way, I showed you the ensemble with temperatures. This is the same thing with all 51 different versions making an average here. This is as accurate a forecast we can get because if we use just one individual model, it's going to change. It really is. So we're going to use ensembles here for a reason, to make things more likely, the most likely case scenario, if that makes sense. So this is Tuesday, this afternoon. Blue shading, below average temperatures, orange and red shading, above average temperature anomalies, right? Based on climatology for the time of the year that we're in. So pretty much Indiana below average temperatures now because we had some stratus, we had some Thule fog this morning, some dense fog that had slowed to clear, and so it left really some cooler daytime highs today. But the cooling is going to be different once we get into Thanksgiving. You can see this big Arctic air mass moving in from British Columbia, from Alberta, Canada. It's going to be really cold. You can see temperatures 15 to 20 degrees below average. I mean, this is pretty absurd for late November. The last day of November here, going to be exceptionally cool for some areas. I mean, look at some West Virginia. The Appalachians could have temperatures as much as 20 degrees below average, even getting close to 30 degrees below average up across North Dakota and British Columbia, portions of Canada there, very far below average. But that's not going to end. As we go throughout, and then we showed you Thanksgiving and basically Black Friday weekend and Black Friday itself will be very cool, cooler than average. This is going to continue all the way into much of next week with below average temperatures for much of the Midwest and east of the Rockies, especially for the eastern seaboard of the United States and the Great Lakes. So yes, lake effect snow concerns are certainly a possibility out there. And this is going to continue. The reinforcement of cooler air all the way through the first full week of December isn't out of the question. It is a possibility based on our ensemble forecast. All 51 versions of the operational to put this into a blend of an average. All right, so the European deterministic forecast on our snowfall forecast, especially for the Rockies, whatever is left is moving through today. You might see another foot or two of snowfall in some of the higher elevations. And of course, for the Great Lakes region, for the Northeast, you might see 1 to 2 feet of snowfall thanks to that winter storm that is going to be moving through. This is, by the way, in my sense, you don't have to agree with the Weather Channel with how they name stuff, but this is Winter Storm Carly that is going to bring a lot of snowfall for the Northeast. That's my own preference. I name my winter storms differently than anybody else. So Winter Storm Carly is going to be bringing a lot of impacts for the Northeast in time for Thanksgiving and Black Friday shopping. We showed you that. Lots of strong winds, some intense snowfall rates in some of the areas, and it's going to lead to a lot of issues. And of course, when we look at our precipitation totals here, if you don't get snow, you're going to get rain. Not looking at a whole lot of rainfall accumulation, less than a half an inch in many areas here. Some of the higher elevations due to orographic effects here of Tennessee, you might get maybe 3/4 of an inch of rainfall, but overall, not looking at a whole lot of rain precip totals here other than the Northeast. If you don't get snow, you're going to get rain, and you might get about an inch or two of rainfall out of that winter storm. But otherwise, this is not the worst Thanksgiving travel impacts you're going to see. We've seen worse Thanksgivings and Black Fridays, but this is going to be impactful. There's going to be some flight delays and cancellations, I'm sure, because everyone's going to be hitting the airports and hitting the roadways, and you don't want serious weather to impact your Thanksgiving. So that's unfortunately what's going to end up happening, especially over here. Okay, I boxed this in. We're mainly over here in the Northeast is going to be the area that gets most impact. So why in the heck is this weather pattern going to be really crazy? Well, you can blame it on the jet stream. It's going to be changing. We talked about this zonal flow, this flow from west to east. It keeps the cooler air to the north and it keeps the warmer air to the south, right? In between them all, you get this zonal flow, all right? But what's going to happen is it's going to become more of a meridional flow. So we get more northwesterly flow. That advects cooler air. Anytime you get northwesterly flow, in other words, it happens across the world, anywhere around the world. This is kind of a weather lesson briefly. Northwesterly flow on the left front quadrant of that jet, usually. So if you follow the wind vectors, it's going to be where the trough is going to be. You get cold air advection on the backside of a trough, right? Then, say, ahead of a trough, you get warm air advection. You'll understand this over time, but you can see what ends up happening. This flow changes. You get northwesterly flow. What ends up happening? Ta-da! You get colder air, and a lot of it, across the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. And I'm sure there's going to be wind chill advisories up here in the upper Midwest and the northern plains because of how cooler these temperatures are going to be. And this is going to continue. This flow is not going to change with ridge of high pressure back west, troughing across the east, a classic La Nina pattern. This is going to be a very big problem. Colder temperatures, a lack of precipitation, especially for the Midwest, because these systems are typically dry, but it's going to be very cold, really cold. Wind chill values are going to be concerning. And if you thought that was significant, well, we're going to do a hypo forecast. What about that? If you want to go out to 10 days on the European deterministic forecast, this is one heck of a polar vortex. I mean, it doesn't look that significant until you look at its anomalies. Look at how significant this actually ends up being. Very substantial. I mean, 510 decameters below average. I think that's what that reads, right? No, wait. Yeah, maybe 51 decameters. It's 51 decameters below average. That is substantial. And Ethan, you're probably looking at this and be like, holy cow. Oh my gosh. That is a very, very amplified pattern. Because that clearly is. If that happens, whew, yeah, you will be frigiding your butt off. It's going to be bad. It would be a very big Arctic invasion. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this a thumbs up, hit the like button, and share this video with your family and friends on social media. I really hope you get to your guys' destinations really well. I know a lot of people are out shopping today. I work at Safeway, and I'll tell you, yesterday was insanity. We had 6 check stands open. We have 6 check stands in the store, and all of them were open yesterday. I can only imagine what it's going to be like tomorrow, since today is pretty much a done deal. A lot of people are shopping right now. Please have patience. All right, I know. Get to the store. My recommendation as an associate is get to the store right when the store opens. That's when it's going to be lesser busy. Or wait until like an hour before the store closes when it's not as busy. All right. But otherwise, please be safe, have safe travels, and I will be back with you more hopefully soon. I'll be very busy the rest of this week getting ready for our Thanksgiving dinner on Saturday, the last day of November. Believe it or not, we're not celebrating Thanksgiving Day, so we have moved that to Saturday because of my work schedule and other things that are going on. So I will not have a video out on this channel for the rest of this week, perhaps. Really depends on how Friday goes and other days. All right? But anyways, share, like, and subscribe, and I'll be back with you more soon.